Welcome back to my channel, and I'm back with a new story. How are you doing? I hope you are doing great. If you are new to my channel, I'm Vera, but you can call me V, and I share amazing stories. And if this is something you love, please subscribe and like this video, and don't forget to turn on the notifications so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Today's shout out goes to Mrs. Abuda, and Yola Joseph Y4M, and Delia Paul D7U. They were the first people to comment on my last video. Thank you so much for the support, babes. You know I love you. And I'll be, Dada. Relax, get comfortable, and let's get right into it. Growing up, my house was always full of people, full of noise, full of cousins running around, fighting over food, sharing clothes, and stealing each other's things. But among them all, Ella was my favorite. She wasn't just my cousin, she was like my twin. We were born in the same month, just 3 days apart. We were the same height, had the same skin tone, same cheekbones, same laugh. People often mistook us for sisters. Sometimes, even our own family members would call me Ella by mistake. And I never minded. In fact, I loved it. We did everything together. We shared our secrets, our dreams, our clothes, even our food. If Ella didn't come to a party, I didn't go either. If I was invited somewhere, I made sure Ella was invited too. Wherever I went, Ella was always beside me. They say you don't truly know someone until you live with them. I wish I had listened. The first time I mentioned getting my own apartment, Ella was more excited than I was. Finally, she said, "You know I'm moving in with you, right?" I laughed. I thought she was joking. But when the time came, when I finally saved enough to move out of my parents' house, Ella showed up with her bags, uninvited, unplanned, but completely confident. At first, I wanted to say no. I had dreamed of having my own space, just me, no noise, no sharing, just peace. But then I looked at her face, excited, hopeful, full of love, and I couldn't say no. Okay, I said, but we split the rent. She agreed, or at least she said she would. I paid the deposit, first year's rent, and bought a few items to make the place comfortable. Ella promised to send a part of the rent before the next payment. She never did. 1 month passed, then 2, then 3. Every time I asked, she gave me a new excuse. My boss hasn't paid me yet. My boyfriend said he will send it next week. I will get it by the end of the month, I swear. I wanted to believe her. She was my cousin, my sister, my twin. I told myself, it is okay, she will pay later. She's just going through a tough time. But deep down, I was starting to feel uneasy. It wasn't just about the money, it was everything else too. Ella was lazy. She didn't clean. She didn't cook. She didn't wash dishes. She would wake up late, lie on the couch in a wrapper, scroll through her phone, eat, and go back to sleep. I was doing everything, sweeping, mopping, cooking, paying the bills. Still, I kept quiet. I avoided drama. I didn't want to lose her. I didn't want to fight. I kept reminding myself, she's family, she's my person. But even though we shared the same blood, something had changed. I started to feel like I didn't know the girl I had loved all my life. She still smiled like the old Ella, still laughed like the old Ella. But behind those smiles, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I didn't know it yet, but that decision, letting her move in, was going to destroy everything I had built. My peace, my home, and eventually my heart. I remember one evening clearly. I came home from work, completely exhausted. The power was off, the place was hot, the kitchen was full of flies. She had cooked instant noodles for herself and left the pots, the spoon, the empty sachets, and the oil-covered plates all over the kitchen counter. I stood there staring at the mess, wanting to scream, but instead I cleaned it quietly, tears falling into the sponge as I scrubbed. Because what would I say? This was Ella, my twin, my own family. People always say family is everything, but sometimes family is the very thing that breaks you. That was the beginning of the cracks, small at first, but getting deeper every day. And I didn't even know the worst betrayal was still coming. By the time Ella moved in with me, I had already been dating my boyfriend Seth for 2 years. It wasn't perfect, but I loved him. He had this smile that could calm me down even when I was boiling with anger. He was handsome, tall, and always smelled good. The way he laughed, the way he looked at me when I was talking. I used to think I was the luckiest girl in the world. But like I said, it wasn't perfect. A year into the relationship, I found out he had cheated. Not fully, or at least that is what he said. He said he kissed someone, that it didn't mean anything, and it just happened. He swore up and down that it was a mistake, and that he still loved me. I cried for days. I almost left him, but my heart wouldn't let me. And you know the person who helped me stay? Ella. She told me, men mess up sometimes. If he still loves you, give him another chance. She helped us talk. She played middlewoman, passing messages between us when we weren't speaking. She even joked that we would probably end up getting married and naming our daughter after her. I trusted her so much. In fact, I trusted her more than I trusted myself. Seth and Ella had gone to SHS together. That is how we met. She introduced us at a birthday party. He asked for my number, and the rest was history. From that day, Ella became part of the relationship. She knew everything, our fights, our inside jokes, my worries, my hopes, my secrets. When Seth made me angry, she would talk to him for me. When I was too stubborn to say sorry, she would convince me to calm down. She made me believe they were just friends, nothing more. And I believed her. Because why would I ever think Ella, my cousin, would do anything behind my back? Looking back now, I realized I was blinded by love for both of them. Seth could make me feel like the only girl in the world one moment and like a stranger the next. But I held on because I told myself love means fighting for someone, forgiving, being patient. I thought if I just loved him harder, he would grow up, he would stop making mistakes, he would become the man I dreamed of. I never imagined that while I was holding on to him so tightly, someone else was pulling him away. And the most painful part, that person was living right under my roof. It was a quiet night. Seth had come over to spend the night, like he sometimes did. We ate, watched the movie, laughed a bit, and then went to bed. I fell asleep in his arms, but in the middle of the night, I felt cold. I reached for him, but he wasn't there. At first, I thought maybe he went to the bathroom, so I stayed in bed, waiting. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Still no sign of him. Something just didn't feel right. I got up slowly and stepped into the hallway. The whole apartment was dark and quiet. I looked toward the bathroom. The door was wide open and the light was off. Empty. As I turned back to my room, I heard it. A sound, a soft click. A door opening slowly. Then I saw him, Seth, coming out of Ella's room. He looked completely calm, too calm. He didn't jump or flinch like someone who got caught. He didn't act like he had done anything wrong. He just smiled at me like everything was fine. Ella is upset, he said casually. She was crying about her boyfriend. I was just trying to comfort her. Comfort her? Since when did he comfort Ella? Since when did Ella cry and not tell me? I was her best friend, a ride or die. If she was going through something, I was always the first to know. Always. But that night, she went to my man instead of me. Something about it didn't sit right. Still, I didn't want to explode or cause drama at 3 in the morning. So I just nodded slowly and said, okay. But inside, I felt sick. The next morning, I went to Ella's room. She was sitting on her bed like nothing had happened, hair wrapped, phone in her hand, scrolling as usual. I asked her what was going on. She said the same thing as Seth. That night, I was just sad about my boyfriend. I didn't want to wake you up. He was already awake, so I talked to him. But her face didn't look like someone who had cried all night. She was calm, comfortable, like she had practiced that story 100 times in front of a mirror. Even though everything in me screamed, this is wrong, I pushed it all down. I said to myself, you are overthinking. They wouldn't do that to you. You are being paranoid. I told myself, this is your man. This is your cousin. If there's anyone you can trust in this world, it is this too. I buried my doubts and pretended to believe them. But that night changed something in me. I didn't know it yet, but that was the moment everything began to fall apart. I should have trusted my instincts. After all the years of dating, after everything we had been through, Seth finally came to see my parents. He came with drinks, elders, and a smile that made my heart believe in forever. My whole family was happy. My mom danced. My dad gave his blessing. I smiled so hard that day. I thought my cheeks would see. We picked a date 6 months from that day. I should have been overjoyed, but I wasn't. Something in me was not at peace. I kept trying to ignore it, but it was there, like a small voice whispering in the back of my mind. Seth had changed over time. He wasn't as patient as before. He got angry easily, sometimes over small things. He didn't know how to say sorry. If we fought, he would go quiet for days, waiting for me to fix things. And romance, it had disappeared. No surprise calls, no thoughtful texts, just silence, unless he wanted something. But I told myself to focus on the good parts. He still smiled at me sometimes. He still held my hand in public. He was still handsome and he still smelled nice. And so I held on. Ella was excited about the wedding. Too excited. She kept asking questions. What dress will you wear? Are you doing a white wedding too? Do you trust Seth completely now? That last question caught me off guard. I should have seen it as a red flag. But I just laughed and said, why do you ask that? She smiled and said, just wondering. Now I know she was mocking me. As the wedding got closer, Seth started changing again. He stopped calling as much. He would cancel plans last minute. Sometimes I would text him and not hear back for a full day. When I asked what was going on, he said, I am stressed. I am thinking a lot. Things are moving too fast. And then one day, he just said it plainly. I am not ready to get married. Just like that. No warning, no explanation. I sat there frozen. Everything inside me collapsed. Not ready, I asked. You already came to see my family. We've told everyone. The invitations are almost done. He shrugged. I didn't think I would feel this way. I just need time. That night, I cried like a baby. All the memories, all the promises, all the plans, gone in one sentence. But I wasn't ready to accept the truth. I still loved him. Even when he broke my heart, I still waited. I was still hoping that somehow he would come back. After everything he did, the cheating, the pulling away, the silence, Seth came back. Just when I was trying to move on, he returned, standing at my door like nothing had happened. He looked broken. He cried. He begged. He said, I made a mistake. I was scared, but I love you. I want to marry you. I should have slammed the door. I should have screamed at him. I should have walked away, but I didn't. Despite all the pain, I still loved him. When I told my family, my dad was furious. He looked at Seth and said, if you truly mean it this time, pay the dowry upfront. No more promises. No more stories. Seth agreed. He brought the dowry. My parents accepted it. The date was set again. This time, I told myself, maybe he has changed. Maybe this is our fresh start. I bought my dress. I sent out the invitations. The night before the wedding, I couldn't sleep. I was nervous, excited, hopeful. I kept checking my phone, waiting for Seth's good night, my bride message. It never came. I told myself it was just tired, probably sleeping early for the big day. I didn't know I was about to live my worst nightmare. The next morning, everything was perfect. The chairs were arranged. The music was playing softly. Guests had started arriving. My makeup was done. My veil was ready. My heart was pounding. I was about to become a wife. Or so I thought. Then the whisper started. Where is the groom? As anyone saying said, his family is here, But he is not. My stomach dropped. I picked up my phone and dialed his number. Switched off. I tried again. Switched off. I tried his brother, his friend. No one knew where he was. His family looked just as confused. His mother kept checking her phone. His uncle kept saying, he said he was coming. He left the house early this morning. But he never came. He didn't call. He didn't explain. He just disappeared. I stood there in my white dress, sweating, shaking, heart crumbling inside me while people stayed, whispered and waited and waited and waited until it became clear he had left me. He left me at the altar. No call, no excuse, just silence. I ran into the back room and collapsed on the floor. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't cry. I couldn't move. I just sat there, frozen, as the world around me collapsed. All I could think was, why? How could he do this to me? Was I not enough? My whole body went numb. And the worst part, Ella was there, sitting calmly like nothing had happened. But I didn't know yet. Her part in the betrayal was even darker. After Seth left me at the altar, I couldn't breathe properly for days. I packed my things, took up the dress I never got to wear, and went back to my parents' house like a broken doll. I didn't eat. I didn't talk. I just cried. Every day. I cried in bed. I cried in the bathroom. I cried while brushing my teeth. People say time heals, but for me, every day felt worse than the last. I kept thinking, how could he do this to me? What did I ever do wrong? Wasn't I enough? My mother tried her best. She sat beside me, rubbed my back, made me food I couldn't eat. My siblings tiptoed around the house like they didn't want to breathe too loud. My aunties kept saying, it is okay, it is not the end of the world, but it felt like the end of my world. Until one day, my dad entered my room. He opened the door with force. No knocking, no soft voice, no pity. He stood there and stared at me for a long second, then said in a deep voice I would never forget, stand up. I wiped my eyes, confused. I sat up slowly. He walked to the edge of the bed and said, you are the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. You are smart, kind, hardworking, and full of light. If a man doesn't see that, it is his loss, not yours. Then he paused, reached into his pockets, pulled out an envelope and handed it to me. I looked at him, confused. It is the dowry money Seth paid. We don't want it. Your mother and I agreed it is yours. Use it however you want. Cry one more night if you must. But after that, wipe your tears and stand. I just stared at the envelope. I didn't open it. I didn't speak. But something shifted inside me. That moment, hearing my father's voice, his words, his belief in me, gave me the one thing I had lost, strength. I didn't stop crying that very moment, but something in my heart whispered, enough, no more wasting tears on people who never deserved you. I held the envelope to my chest and told myself, you are done begging for love. You are done being the fool. This is the end of that story. That night, for the first time in weeks, I slept without crying. I didn't know it yet, but that envelope was about to change my life forever. A few weeks after the failed wedding, I was slowly trying to breathe again. I was still staying with my parents, still healing, still trying not to fall apart every second. Then one day, I ran into one of my old neighbors near our apartment block. She looked at me with that face people make when they know something but don't know how to say it. Finally, she said, I wasn't going to tell you, but I think you should know. She said that during the time I had been at my parents' house, crying my eyes out, not eating, barely sleeping, she saw Seth. Seth, coming in and out of my apartment at night. I stared at her in shock. Maybe he came to check on me, I said. She shook her head. But you weren't even there. You hadn't come back since the wedding. Then she added one more sentence that sent chills down my spine. But Ella was there. My chest tightened. I felt like something inside me had cracked. I didn't even say goodbye to the neighbor. I just pained and started running to my apartment, running to find the truth I was too afraid to face before. When I entered the apartment, Ella was sitting on the couch, calm, chewing gum, scrolling her phone like nothing had happened. I stood there, panting. Did Seth come here while I was gone? She blinked and said, "Oh yeah, he came twice to pick up some of his things. I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to upset you." Upset me? Why didn't you say anything? You knew what he did to me. You knew I was broken. She rolled her eyes. It wasn't a big deal. I didn't even talk to him like that. I just let him in. He picked his things and left. Her voice was too casual, too cold, like she didn't care at all. Something in me snapped. I lunged forward, snatched the phone from her hand, and ran into my room. I locked the door before she could follow me. I knew her password. And then I opened the messages. My hands started shaking. Message after message after message. Come over when she's not around. I miss your lips. That wedding won't happen. Trust me. You are the one I want, not her. Her tears don't mean anything to me. And then I saw a photo. A scan. A baby scan. Ella was pregnant for Seth. 3 months in. It had been going on for over a year. She had begged him not to marry me. She had smiled in my face, helped me plan my wedding, calmed me down during fights. And behind my back, she was stealing the man I was crying over. My cousin, my best friend, my twin. I dropped the phone. I couldn't move. I couldn't cry. I just sat on the floor, breathing hard, heart shattered into dust. Everything made sense now. The mood swings, the sudden breakup, the wedding day disappearance. I was living in the same house with the people who had destroyed me. I walked back out, threw a phone at her and said, "Get out." She tried to talk. "It is not what you think," but I didn't care. I screamed, "Get out!" and she left. Just like that. No more pretending, no more fake sisterhood. The truth had come out. Then I did something I never thought I would do. I told everyone. I told my parents. I told our extended family. I told our mutual friends. I sent screenshots, no filters, no mercy. Some were shocked. Some didn't believe it at first. Some said, "But you two were so close." Exactly. That is what made the betrayal hurt more than any cheating ever would. After she left, I broke. I cried for days. I stayed up at night thinking about all the years I wasted, the birthdays we shared, the secrets, the way I used to defend her when others complained. It all felt like a lie now, like I had been living in a fake friendship for most of my life. But in the middle of all that pain, a voice inside me whispered, "Don't let her win." So I got up, wiped my face, and told myself, "You survived the worst. Now it is time to rebuild." They broke my heart, they shattered my trust, but they did not destroy me, and they never will. After I kicked Ella out and exposed everything, I went silent. I stopped replying to messages. I didn't explain myself again. I just focused on healing. It wasn't easy. There were days I still cried. Nights I stared at the ceiling, wondering why life had to break me like that. But then I remembered what my father said. "Do what you want without dowry. Start again." So I did. I took the dowry money and invested it in a small business. At first, it was just buying and selling items online. Then I opened a shop, then another, and it grew. Step by step, month by month. Before I knew it, I had staff, clients. The same money that was meant to start a marriage that never happened became the seed for the life I truly deserved. Fast forward 4 years, and here I am, married, 4 months pregnant, and happy, truly, deeply happy. My husband is everything sex could never be. Kind, calm, faithful. He actually apologizes when he's wrong. He listens, he supports, he smiles with his whole heart. He treats me like gold every single day. And the best part, he loves me exactly as I am. No games, no secrets, no betrayal. As for Ella, she had a baby for Seth, and another one a year later. He never married her. In fact, he left her. She met another man, got pregnant again, and now she has 3 children with 2 different men, still struggling in their family house. None of them stayed. The same way she broke me is the same way life broke her. But I never said a word because karma never forgets. She has tried to come back into my life. She sends long messages, calls from new numbers, asks mutual friends to talk to me, saying she's sorry, saying she misses me, saying she wants to go back to how things used to be. But I've blocked her in my phone and in my heart because I'm done reopening doors God Himself closed. Looking back now, I smile. Losing Seth felt like the end of the world, but it was actually the beginning of my real life. I thought I lost everything, but really, I was just being redirected. Sometimes the worst pain brings the best blessings. So yes, Seth leaving me at the altar, that was the best thing that ever happened to me because it made me meet the woman I was always meant to become. And that woman, she's unbreakable now. Always trust your instincts. And if you're in a relationship and you know, most of the time, you know it deep inside your heart that this man is bad for me, this woman is bad for me. You know it. Please leave. There's someone better waiting for you. Okay, I know it is painful to leave someone you love, but trust me, you are going to thank yourself for being strong enough to walk away. I want to hear your thoughts down below about this story. And now, Abi, you know that this is a judgment-free zone. We listen, we don't judge. So please be kind to her in the comment section. And if you've not subscribed yet, babe, come and join the family. Come. Subscribe and like this video. And don't forget to turn on the notifications so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Okay, I'm done. Bye.